Hi everyone, hope you're doing really well. Yes, it's very, very tragic about what happened, wasn't it, 2 days ago with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. But a lot of people are now saying, did God spare his life? Did sort of reenacting a miracle situation here. You know, because if you look at some of the footage, you'll see that that bullet was whizzing through. You could see the trajectory of that bullet with an elongated trail. And he turns his head at the just at the right time to avoid being hit completely full on. And a lot of people are saying, is God using Trump at this time to fulfill Bible prophecy? Well, I think that my answer to this can only be this fact, that God has set aside a day to judge mankind. He's set a day aside for that. So why would he then break his promise? Why would he decide, oh, on this occasion, I'm going to intervene into man's affairs and save one person? See, it doesn't make sense. If you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, it makes no sense to even suggest that Trump is on the same plateau as Jesus Christ, who is the Messiah. You know, this is what they're doing. The mainstream media, those that love him and those that hate him, they're both projecting this polar opposite imagery of Trump. And so the masses they're just soaking it up, aren't they? They're just accepting what they're being told. Of course, they say that seeing is believing, and it was live, and to all intents and purposes, he should be dead. I'm glad it's not, because if they'd have killed another president, I mean, why do America do that anyway? I mean, have they killed 4 up to now? Why do they kill their presidents when their presidents speak about subjects in which they don't like, and they find a way of getting rid of them? But to suggest that Donald Trump is being blessed by God is a huge stretch, which one I can't get behind. Because I do believe that they'll be just waiting for this appointed time. And Jesus and the angels who eventually will vindicate God's name are just waiting to be told to act. So it would be a slap in the face for them as well, wouldn't it, if God was just to have come in and blanketly protected one human being from death. I just can't get my head around it. You know, I can't go along with what everybody else is believing. So I thought just to make a little quick video about it. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the language leading up to it. I mean, to suggest that they put a target on Trump was really not the thing to say, was it? You know, don't you think that that was some kind of code as to declare open season on Trump? And do you think that they're going to stop at this? Everybody's saying this was just a lone gunman. But was it? Was it a lone gunman? And let's explore the fact that there's a rumour going now that BlackRock were making a commercial in that area, and that this lone gunman featured in the commercial. Is that a lie? Is that a lie, or is there any truth in that? Were BlackRock doing a commercial in that area that featured that gunman, that young man? Because if that's true, look, this has got all the hallmarks of a JFK conspiracy, and it's no wonder, is it, that this conspiracy theorist starts speculating about what really is taking place. They don't help themselves, do they? When they allow somebody to crawl on their belly and get in place, that when they ignore everybody pointing out that there's a shooter on the roof, they're not helping themselves, are they? When they send a copper up there, why was that copper not armed with a pistol. I thought every American copper had a pistol. So if that copper was to go up that ladder to check on that suspected shooter, why did he not take a pop shot at him while he was there? Did he have a gun or not? It doesn't make any sense. It's almost like they were allowing this lone shooter, if you can call him a lone shooter, we don't know yet whether there was an accomplice, but they were allowing him enough time to get into position. And then they allowed enough time for him to crack off a few shots. Why did they not return fire on the first shot? Can you understand how this just does not make sense? If you're a sniper and you return fire at the moment that you hear the first shot, but they didn't, because he got 6 to 8 off. Was somebody hoping that this was a sure way to take Trump out? Was this an attempt by a deeper conspiracy? Were there much more underhand tactics being employed this day than just blaming it on one solitary lone shooter, who eventually they had no choice but to kill? But why not kill him on the first shot? Why allow someone all the freedom in the world to get into a perfect position with perfect line of sight? Why allow all that to happen? It's almost like what they did with Kennedy. Kennedy and the cavalcade and the cars came to a stop. Once they came to a stop, he was a sitting target, and there was a line of sight, but not above ground. You have to look underground. That's where I believe the shooter was, in the gutter, in the lower recesses, and pointing his gun out with a perfect line of sight. That's why you see Kennedy's head go like that, because the bullet was coming from below ground, because he was in the sewer. Maybe not one shooter as well on Kennedy, probably two young shooters. And when you see all this and you look at the unfolding of another attempted assassination on another American president, you start to believe that America is the most corrupt country in the world. Without doubt. Without doubt, it's the most corrupt country in the world. And I'll tell you why. With all the greatest powers that have ever been since the first world power, they've always kept on top through corruption, lying, murder, everything. They use everything to stay number one. And America is no different. And they don't want Donald Trump to come in and be president, because he's going to call time on a lot of their exploits, which they've had for too long. And they don't want it to stop. They don't want their little empire to come crashing down. And that's why I believe there will be other attempts on Trump's life. And I don't believe he can trust the people around him. As much as they turn around and say, oh, this is a marvellous team that we've got, it only takes one of them to be infiltrated and to allow the gate open for another president to be killed. And that is the sadness of this world we live in. People glorify death. But Trump was so lucky, really lucky. And I'm glad that this outcome has meant that, well, it's shown the Democrats up to be what they are, and that's desperate. Very, very desperate. And the things that they've said afterwards, especially their media outlets, the choice of conversation that they've since come out with about this assassination, it's almost as if they're disappointed he's not dead. See ya.